I want to walk you through something very important today. I've been thinking about this for a long time, and the more I talk to people, the more I notice the same pattern. Some of us want to get rich, and I get it. I really do. I've been there. I know the feeling of wanting life to open up a little more, of wanting to breathe easier, of wanting to take care of people that you really love without doing the mental math every time and look at your bank account. And before I go any deeper, my name is Joshua. I do not want you to buy anything. I don't want you to sell anything. I just want to share the story so you can think better and make your own decisions. Now, let me be honest with you. Anyone can get lucky. Anyone can put everything onto black or red in a casino and walk out on a good day. Anyone can buy the right meme coin at the right time and suddenly triple their money. We've all seen that. We've all seen that one friend who made it without knowing how they actually made it. But here's the quiet truth that nobody says out loud. Almost nobody can repeat the process, and almost nobody can do it again and again until it turns into real, lasting generational wealth. That kind of wealth that changes your life, your parents' lives, and your kids' lives. That is where things get very real. Wealth is not built in one move. It is built in a process. It is built through time. It is built through, patience and clarity. And this is why I wanted to make this video, because there's a path that has worked again and again. And that for people who have actually made it. Not the lucky ones, the ones who built something very steady. People like Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, or people like Peter Lynch. Even the simple long-term history of the S&P tells the same story. These are the people who rode not only one bull market, but many cycles over many years, because they had a repeatable system, something that kept working no matter what. And what was really happening on the surface was, if you want to do the same, you need to understand where the world is moving next. You need to understand the next global trend that will drive the next 10 years. And right now, whether we like it or not, artificial intelligence is that trend. AI will shape the decade the same way the internet shaped the 2000s and smartphones shaped the 2010s. You don't need hype to see it. You can actually feel it, I would say. You can see it in your daily life, in your work life. And this is where the story begins. Because companies I want to talk about today are not any hype names, I would say. They are not memes, they are not lottery tickets. They are companies that sit inside the value chain of AI. They're the ones selling the picks and shovels while everyone else dreams about gold. They're the ones building the roads and the tunnels while everyone else fights over who will win the LLM wars. And that is where real wealth often hides, quietly without noise. And the story starts with energy. Nobody talks about it, but energy is the new choke point in AI. Every model, every cluster, every data center consumes massive power. OpenAI said they want to build around 250 gigawatts, and that of compute. And that in the next decade. For context, that is more than the entire power grid of India. And that is only one company. And when you look at the whole industry, you see something big happening. The world is running forward into AI, but the power system is still stuck behind. This is why energy matters. And it brings me to one stock, and the stock is Constellation Energy. The ticker is CEG. A few years ago, I added it to my top list, back when the stock was around $210. Today, it's much higher, but when you understand the story, you realize the move. It is small compared to what this company might become. Constellation runs the largest nuclear fleet in the United States. And nuclear power runs almost 24/7. It is clean, steady, and predictable. And it is exactly what hungry data centers need. And this is why Meta signed a 20-year deal with Constellation Energy. They literally reserved an entire nuclear power plant. And that was just a signal. It was the start of something bigger. We are seeing a shift where big tech is not just buying servers, not buying power sources, and Constellation stands right in front of that wave. That is why it deserves a place in this story. Now, electricity is only half of the challenge. The other one is cooling. Data centers run very hot, and cooling them uses almost as much energy as the servers themselves. And that brings me to a company that sits in a quiet but powerful spot. And it's called Vertiv. The ticker is VRT. I look at this company very early, around at $108. And today it is far higher. And the fundamentals are some of the strongest I've ever seen. Vertiv owns a huge share of the liquid cooling market for data centers. And when you think about cooling, don't imagine this old air conditioners. Think about it as full immersion systems. Think about racks of hardware sitting inside a special liquids that pull out the heat out faster than the air ever could. And this is not science fiction. This is the present. Every new data center is being built around liquid cooling. And Vertiv sits right at the center of that shift. When AI grows, Vertiv also grows. When compute grows, Vertiv also grows. And that is the kind of connection I search when I'm looking for stocks and stories. Now, we need to talk about GPUs, of course. This is the part you already know. AI does not exist without GPUs. These chips do billions of small math tasks at the same time. They're the engine behind every model you hear about. And yeah, of course, Nvidia dominates this space like almost no company has ever dominated a market before. 80 to 90% market share. The entire world is building AI factories, and almost every one of them is filled with Nvidia hardware. But here's the part that still surprises people. Nvidia's fundamentals are not only strong, they are almost unreal, I would say. High margins, huge free cash flow, massive market demand, and yet the valuation is not as crazy as people think. This is, one of the clearest toll roads in the AI world. No matter who wins, the model wars or whatever AI, Nvidia gets paid. But hardware is only one part of the story. AI also needs the brain, but it also needs something that helps the brain understand. And this is where software comes in. And for me, the most important software layer in the entire AI industry is Palantir. The ticker is PLTR. They do not build any chips. They do not build any servers. They do not cool any data centers. They sit on top of all that. Palantir takes the raw AI power and turns it into something useful for real companies. It helps factories run better. It helps hospitals plan better. It helps government respond faster. And without this layer, AI is just math. Without this layer, it is really just math. And with this layer, AI becomes something that business really can use. And when you look at the interests from companies around the world, it is clear that Palantir is becoming a global standard. Their fundamentals are strong, their margins are rising, their cash pile is growing. And this is the kind of quiet power that I like, not the loud hype, it's real power. Now, we need to talk about something physical, something that moves, lifts, carries, and builds. This is where Tesla comes in, and I know many people only think of Tesla as a car company. But Tesla is slowly becoming something very different. They are building humanoid robots. I want you to imagine the world in 10 years. Imagine factories where half the labor is actually robotic. Imagine warehouses, restaurants, farms, construction sites, robots that work like humans, but without any breaks, without paychecks, without sick days. Tesla is ahead here, not just because of AI, but because of Tesla. Yeah, they already know how to build hardware at scale. They know batteries, sensors, motors, energy systems. They know manufacturing better than almost anyone on Earth. And this is why I believe Tesla is in a leading position in this category. Now, when you add more AI, more data, more systems, you also add risk. You create more doors for attackers. That is where CrowdStrike comes in. The ticker is CRWD. And this company protects the whole system. They scan trillions of events across all the networks. When someone tries to break into one company, the protection spreads to all the others. And in AI world, security is no longer optional. It is the immune system of the entire digital economy. CrowdStrike is becoming the standard here, and I think this will matter more and more every year. And finally, all of this needs a home. All of this needs a place to run. All of this needs cloud. And the strongest cloud engine today, especially for AI workloads, is Microsoft. The ticker is MSFT. They have been around forever, but the story is always changing. Azure is now the fastest growing cloud platform in the world, faster than AWS, faster than Google, faster than anyone, and almost every AI product you see today is built, trained, and deployed on someone's cloud. And more, that cloud is Microsoft. And when you put all these pieces together, the story becomes clear. NVIDIA is the brain, Constellation and Vertiv keep the system alive, Palantir is the operating layer, Tesla is the physical form, CrowdStrike is the immune system, Microsoft is the place where all of it lives. And this is why these companies matter. Yeah, not because of the hype, not because of the trends, but because they sit inside the foundation of the next decade. Now, I want to end with something simple. Knowing the names, does not make you rich. The process make you rich. The patience, the discipline, the ability to stay calm where the market panics, and the ability to ignore noise when the crowd goes crazy. That is what matters. Think long term. Think clearly. Think in cycles, not in days. The rest will follow. Thanks for staying with me until the very end. If you enjoyed these slow, high context breakdowns, you're welcome to stay around. Thank you.